I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out. From Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't do
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not.
Kovalev was older. He
Billy Joe.
does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is night and day.
Mike Tyson boldly claims that Terence Crawford can conquer Canelo Alvarez despite the massive size gap.
Andy Armstrong's a featherweight, and he beat the middleweight champ. At 130 pounds, he beat the welterweight champ. Then he fought a draw with the middleweight champ. So I think size means nothing.
Mike Tyson expressed that beating someone bigger isn't unheard of in boxing history, referencing legends like Henry Armstrong, who once defeated champions 2 weight classes above his natural division. Tyson emphasized that while size matters to some extent, determination can override physical disadvantages. In Tyson's view, Crawford's heart and drive make the upset more than just a pipe dream.
Another huge event brought by Saudi Arabia. Who do you think wins that fight? Is it maybe the weight too much for Terence Crawford?
You know, there's been men that beat people like Armstrong and McLaren and these guys. They're beating people bigger than them, 2 divisions bigger than them. It's not impossible. You know, Henry Armstrong's a featherweight, and he beat the middleweight champ. At 130 pounds, he beat the welterweight champ. Then he fought a draw with the middleweight champ. So I think size means nothing. Determination means everything.
The upcoming showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September 13th in Las Vegas, is already being billed as one of the most anticipated bouts in recent memory. Crawford, who is looking to defy the odds and shock the world, is moving up 2 full weight divisions to challenge the Mexican icon for his undisputed super middleweight championship. While many in the sport view the size difference as a key factor that could decide the outcome, others, including some of boxing's most respected voices, see the fight as a lot more complicated.
I'm going with Terence Crawford. You know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Still, some fighters and analysts aren't convinced that the weight difference will decide the fight. Shakur Stevenson has boldly predicted that Crawford won't just win, he'll cook Canelo. Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, argued that fans and experts alike are exaggerating the weight issue. According to him, Canelo may be thick and strong physically, but his height and build don't make him as imposing as the scale might suggest. Stevenson believes Crawford's speed, timing, and adaptability give him a serious advantage, and even hinted that a stoppage win isn't out of the question.
I think Bud gonna cook Canelo. I think he's gonna cook him. I think, you know, Canelo a hell of a fighter, but I think Bud just got all the tools to beat him.
You don't think the weight difference is gonna be too big of an advantage?
I think y'all make that something, you know, in certain fights,
boxing makes it something, not us.
like if this was like a Benavidez, he's actually a lot bigger than Bud, so that would like apply. But I feel like with Canelo, he's like physically kind of big, but like height-wise, he's kind of small. So I don't think so, no.
Echoing that confidence, Richardson Hitchens also believes there's a way for Crawford to pull off the win, while acknowledging that Crawford is a different fighter than those who have beaten Canelo before, like Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol. Hitchens suggested that Crawford has the intelligence and skills to execute his own version of the blueprint. Known for his ring IQ, Crawford might not need to imitate anyone. He only needs to be himself. However, Hitchens did draw the line at predicting a finish, pointing out that Canelo has never been stopped and questioning whether even a fighter as great as Crawford could change that.
I think Terence Crawford is one of the most craftiest dudes that Canelo gonna be in the ring with. Hand speed, IQ, long arms, speed, power. You know, switch hitter. I just think that it's gonna be a lot for. It's gonna be something different for Canelo, but I think Canelo's Canelo. You know, Canelo been first title defense was in 2011 versus Ricky Hatton, and he's still on top to the present time. So this is over 10 years. We're going on like 15 years of this guy fighting on the championship level. So there's nothing new for him. So I do believe that I do believe that it's gonna be a huge fight for both guys, but obviously I'm backing Bud. You know, I have a personal relationship with Terence Crawford, and he's a black fighter, and I do want to see my own winning. I think, you know, Bud is a great guy, you know, especially always being hands-on with the young fighters coming up behind him, guys like me, Shakur, Devin Haney's, being in the gym with guys like us, and, you know, just giving us free game and shit like that. So I think that would be motivation for the young ones behind him, to show him like, yeah, like I could do it, like you could do it too. So I really want to see Bud win that fight, and I think that he can.
Amir Khan, who faced both fighters in the ring, offered a unique perspective. The British Olympian suffered a brutal knockout loss to Canelo in 2016 after moving up in weight, and later fought Crawford at welterweight, where he was also stopped. Comparing their power, Khan acknowledged that while Canelo hits harder, Crawford's power shouldn't be underestimated. He believes Crawford has enough snap in his punches to hurt and push Canelo back, even if the Mexican remains the physically stronger fighter overall.
Terence Crawford potentially fighting in September. You're going to get asked a lot about this fight, but as you sit here, you know, sort of a month, quite a few months away, how do you look at the fight between Canelo and Crawford?
I mean, look, there's weights for a reason in boxing, and even though I got a huge respect for Terence Crawford for showing the balls that he wants to go in the ring and fight a beast like Canelo, but like I said, Canelo, maybe Crawford sees something that you know, other people are not seeing against Canelo, which is like maybe he's gone past his sell-by day, and maybe Crawford is the guy to catch him at the right time, you know. So let's see. I mean, I think it's a brilliant fight. Let's see if it happens. But like I said, if it doesn't happen, obviously I'm going to support my boy, Terence Crawford. He's a good friend of mine. Obviously we fought each other, but sometimes you put that to a side, and he shared the training camp with me last time. He spent some good time with me. I was at his house, and always shows love. So look, he's one of the best fighters in the world. For him to go up 2 divisions is something I did back in the day when I was at the peak of my career, after beating like Devin Alexander and all the big names. So look, I wish him all the very best, and I think he can do it. You know what I mean? One thing about Terence Crawford, he has great box IQ. His IQ is so perfect where he'll see everything, so yeah.
Not everyone shares the same level of optimism. David Benavidez, a top contender at super middleweight, respected Crawford's skills and intelligence, but voiced concerns about the drastic jump in weight. He warned that facing a seasoned, powerful fighter like Canelo at 168 pounds is a different kind of challenge altogether. Crawford has never fought at this high a weight before. And for Benavidez, the jump from 154 to 168 isn't just a numerical leap, it's a leap into a far more dangerous realm of boxing.
Terence Crawford, does he have an opportunity to beat Canelo?
I think if anybody has a chance to beat Canelo, I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins. Wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Earl Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So I don't know. You really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That might activate him to come back strong.
Could you still make 68?
I don't want to make 68.
No, I know you don't. Terence wins 68.
Yeah, well, if that's, yeah, I can make 168.
David's father, Jose Benavidez Sr., took a more critical view. He anticipates a lackluster fight, arguing that Crawford is likely to play it safe and stay on the back foot, much like William Skull and Jermell Charlo did when they faced Canelo Alvarez. Benavidez Sr. doesn't believe Crawford will take the risks needed to really test Canelo, and predicts the bout may fall short of fans' expectations in terms of action and fireworks.
Crawford's a little guy, you know. He's coming up 2 divisions to fight Canelo Alvarez, and you think he's gonna go toe-to-toe with Canelo? Come on, man. You know, Terence Crawford's a great fighter, really good fighter, but that's too much weight for him. So he's gonna try to survive and move around and try to win the round. That's what's gonna happen. I think Canelo at the stage right now, his legs are not the same. You know, the body's not responding the same. So I think he's gonna have problems trying to catch Terence Crawford, to be honest with you. And I think it's gonna be the same fight. You know, I think it's gonna be a boring fight. It's gonna. I'm hoping that, you know, it's a little bit exciting, because I heard that Canelo was the worst fight ever on pay-per-view to throw the less punches in history. So we're hoping to see a great fight, a good fight, but that matchup is not a matchup to be exciting.
That sentiment stands in stark contrast to Zab Judah's take. Judah is not just confident in Crawford's competitiveness, he's going all in on the underdog, scoring a stoppage victory. Judah cited Crawford's sharpness in camp and his apparent comfort with the added weight as key signs that he's prepared for the challenge. For Judah, the outcome may hinge on tactics. If the fight becomes a chess match, he believes Crawford has what it takes to outthink and outmaneuver Canelo.
What about Canelo and Crawford?
Crawford. No hesitation. No hesitation.
I want to see that fight.
Big Bud. Big Bud. We're going to have to roll Canelo up. We're going to have to pack him up, baby.
But how hard is the jump from 47 to 68?
I mean, listen, it's a very big challenge. But what I said, with his skills and the way he's adapted to the size, brother, when I seen him stand toe-to-toe and side by side, I said, game over. Terence Crawford. And listen, don't be surprised if he stops him. I'm telling you.
Who?
Don't be surprised
if Canelo stops Crawford.
Terence Bud Crawford stops Canelo.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I love you. Skills pay the bills. See that, Cody? Skills pay the bills.
Manny Pacquiao also weighed in, offering a more balanced opinion. The legendary 8-division champion acknowledged Crawford's speed and elusiveness as major weapons, but didn't discount the difficulty of facing someone with Canelo's physical prowess. While Pacquiao stopped short of making a firm prediction, his words seemed to lean slightly in Canelo's favor, though he left the door open for Crawford's skills to carry the day.
Manny, what do you think about Canelo versus Crawford? Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think?
Good. Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo? Manny, any advice on Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times. Any advice for Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times and you were successful. What do you tell Crawford? Any advice?
My advice to him is just focus on speed and the speed and style.
Jermall Charlo, who watched his twin brother Jermell lose convincingly to Canelo after bulking up, urged Crawford to avoid the same mistake. According to Jermall, the key for Crawford isn't matching Canelo physically, but preserving his natural strengths, speed, agility, and ring intelligence. He cautioned that altering too much to fit a new weight class could prove disastrous, suggesting that Crawford must remain true to the style that made him successful.
I like Crawford. All right. My brother fought Canelo, not me. I like Crawford in this fight, and he get to stay big. But my brother even told me that was his mistake that he made. He thought going up in weight, I gotta get massive, I gotta get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower, it made his reflexes slower. He'll tell you himself. He didn't feel like the Jermell Charlo that y'all seen him fight Tony Harrison. Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as that. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not, technically, that's not the Crawford that we're going to see. And then Crawford going up there to fight Canelo at 68, when he's not a 68-pounder, where's the motivation? Y'all got to think about it like
big
that.
For Crawford.
The money is good, but we don't expect, I don't expect Terence Crawford to be the Terence Crawford that was knocking out Gamboa, doing all. I don't expect that type of Terence Crawford.
But does it look Canelo?
I'm not picking either one of their ass.
Concerns about the weight jump were also shared by rising star Jaron Boots Ennis. Ennis, while recognizing Crawford's greatness, expressed hesitation about the decision to bypass the middleweight division entirely. He believes that the leap from 154 to 168 without any fights in between may prove to be too ambitious, potentially tipping the scales, figuratively and literally, in Canelo's favor.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been putting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68-pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know. You know, it's gonna be a great fight. You know, the fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, just to get his body, to feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and and not develop the power, but like put that muscle on and be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now. But I think he should, just to stay sharp, and that way he don't have like a long layoff or anything like that.
Meanwhile, Caleb Plant offered perhaps the most grounded assessment. Having shared the ring with Canelo in 2021, Plant knows firsthand the intensity and pressure that the Mexican brings to a fight. He respects Crawford's skill set and mental toughness, but stopped short of picking a winner. For Plant, the true intrigue of the matchup lies not just in styles, but in mentalities. He sees this as a battle of wills and believes fans will be treated to an exciting toe-to-toe clash.
Terence is not a regular guy. You know what I'm saying? He's special. And, you know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw. He can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, you know, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, you know, be able to find out firsthand.
Teddy Atlas, known for his blunt honesty, raised questions about the legitimacy of some of Canelo's past victories, suggesting that strategic matchmaking and physical advantages may have played a role. In contrast, he held Crawford in high regard, especially when it comes to discipline and technical sharpness. Atlas saw these qualities as potential equalizers, particularly if Canelo enters the fight too confident or overly reliant on his size and power. For Atlas, Crawford has what it takes to defy the odds, if he fights a perfect fight.
He had trouble with a 154-pound guy when he went up from welterweight to that. So now he's going up to 168. Teddy, come on. How are you going to make an argument? To make an argument to this, to the history of this sport, where little guys have been able to beat big guys, because you reverse it. You reverse who's got the advantage and the disadvantage. Yeah, the size, the power of Canelo, he's got the advantage. Then all of a sudden you go back and you say, wait a minute. The other guy's faster. The other guy's craftier. The other guy has more options. The other guy is slicker. Oh, well, maybe he's got the advantages. Like the first time Pacquiao fought De La Hoya. And I know De La Hoya was having trouble with weight and all that. I get it, and that's fair. But still, I remember I picked that one. Well, every once in a while I pick one right. I remember that I picked that one where Pacquiao's going to win. And I said, yeah, you're saying that De La Hoya's big, he's stronger. He's got the power edge, he's got this edge, but the other guy's quicker. And that's going to be an edge, and it was an edge. So at the end of the day, Crawford is very, very special. I'm not saying Canelo's not, but I think he's special in a different way, where he's got instincts that not everyone has. Yeah. That it's the timing, it's the instinctual things, the X factors, the intangibles that he has. And I think they're going to show themselves. I really do. And I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to see a smaller guy use those intangibles, use those X factors to beat a bigger guy.
Jim Lampley took a more balanced stance. While he leaned slightly toward Canelo due to the natural size difference, he praised both fighters for their longevity at the elite level. Lampley highlighted Crawford's adaptability and ability to shift between offense and defense as a potential turning point, especially in the later rounds when fatigue could alter the fight's momentum.
You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time Canelo beats himself. If he gets tired of all the discipline he has had to employ to make all the money he's made, if he has enough giant ranches in the Yucatan, if he has enough beautiful horses, if he has had enough unforgettable dinners with Mexican billionaires in Mexico City and Vegas, then maybe. But my guess is he will retire without incurring another loss, because it's important to him to do that.
Former opponent Kell Brook approached the matchup with cautious skepticism. While he respected Crawford, Brook believed that the leap in weight could expose vulnerabilities, particularly Crawford's willingness to engage in exchanges. He pointed out that unlike Mayweather, who once beat Canelo by using slick defense, Crawford doesn't rely as heavily on evasive tactics, which could leave him open against a heavier, more powerful foe.
Well, I don't know. You know, I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. It's like he's more. You know, he kind of sets his feet and he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. You know what I mean? I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather. But like I say, it's one of them what we've got to tune into and watch. You know, both unbelievable fighters, but I'd have to favour Canelo. Just his size and his experience and just his ring generalship. You know, he's got confidence, he's big, he's strong. You know, Crawford's more of a smaller guy, sharp fighter. You know, he's number one as well. You know, but like I said, in my opinion, I've got to lean towards Crawford.
Rolando Romero saw the fight as a mismatch, drawing a comparison to Amir Khan's unsuccessful attempt at challenging Canelo. For Romero, the size disparity alone would be insurmountable. He believed Crawford's skills, no matter how sharp, wouldn't be enough to withstand the physical punishment Canelo could deliver, predicting an early and decisive finish.
So, all the people who think Crawford would even have a single chance against Canelo, they're fucking stupid.
Really, you have a way with words like nobody else.
No, bro. I hate it when people say that. They're fucking stupid.
Trainer Robert Garcia gave a more detailed technical breakdown. He acknowledged that Crawford's movement and speed might give Canelo problems early on, potentially disrupting his rhythm, but Garcia ultimately sided with Alvarez, suggesting that Canelo's grinding body attack and persistent pressure would likely wear Crawford down over 12 rounds, especially as fatigue began to set in.
You know, use your skills, speed, try to fight on the outside, and he does have skills, man. He is a real talented fighter, so I think he's going to put up really good rounds, maybe at least 5 or 6 rounds. He's going to put up really good rounds. Eventually, I think later rounds, Canelo starts catching him, breaking him down, but I do see Crawford putting up. Crawford's, he's the man. He's pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world. He's very talented. I think he will put up a good fight.
You said Canelo maybe later in the rounds comes on, and puts pressure on him. But Canelo more recently, the later rounds, it's a little slower, maybe gives up a couple of them because he's already kind of won. That'd be kind of a different strategy, right? Can he still do that?
It has to, but he has to, because I think the first half, I think it'll be Crawford's fight. I might be wrong also, because Canelo's also very talented. Let's not take that away from him. He's very talented, but I do see Crawford maybe taking the first few rounds, the first half of the fight, and then Canelo forcing himself to pressure and try to dominate it that way, because knowing that he might be a little bit behind, he's gonna be forced to do it. And he's got the strength, he's got the power, he's got the skills to do that too.
Dimitri Bivol, one of the few to beat Canelo, offered a unique perspective based on personal experience. He noted that Crawford's aggressive mindset and high work rate could create discomfort for Canelo, who is used to more passive opponents. Still, Bivol cautioned that Crawford would need to maintain that high tempo from start to finish, as any drop in pace could allow Canelo to regain control.
I think Crawford wants this fight a lot. He wants this fight, and I think he will be more active than Canelo's previous opponent, and he has different mentality. He has champion mentality. I think the fight will be much more interesting.
What do you make of the weight in that fight, the weight difference?
I think Crawford will not let Canelo just walking on the ring when he wants, because we could see this fight. Canelo did everything. When he wanna rest, he could rest easy, in this fight. Yeah, of course, when he wants to work, that guy didn't give him work. He just rest. And I think with Crawford, it will be harder to rest.
Who do you think wins?
I don't know. It's a very interesting fight, but I don't know.
Errol Spence Jr., who was convincingly beaten by Crawford, offered a take rooted in respect. He admitted that the challenge ahead of Crawford was massive, but believed that his former opponent's mental toughness and laser-like focus could carry him through.
I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off. He's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, he started at what 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Caron Davis, familiar with both fighters from training environments, emphasized Crawford's physical transformation and preparation for the heavier division. While he acknowledged Canelo's experience and power at 168 pounds, he also emphasized Crawford's intelligence and mindset.
Have you been in there with Crawford? Yeah. So you've been in there with Crawford, you've been there with Canelo. What can you take from sparring both of them to gauge what's gonna happen in September?
Preparation is gonna definitely be everything. Crawford adjusting to the 168 pound division. I know he's been sitting at a heavier weight for a while, but he's been showing his training and stuff. So that's definitely gonna help him. Canelo experience. You got Crawford, got great experience as well. It's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a good chess match. I expect a great fight. If I had to favor somebody, I would just pick Canelo because of the weight disparity. Canelo is naturally sits really well at 168, and it's just always tough for a guy to come to 168 and come from that many weight classes up and do something like that. If he does it, if anybody can do it, it'll be Terence Crawford.
Roy Jones Jr. shifted attention to the burden of expectation on Canelo. As the bigger man and the defending champion, Jones argued that a mere win wouldn't be enough for Canelo. He would need to dominate.
Buddy Canelo? Huh? Buddy Canelo, who you got?
It's a tough fight. It's like I said, it's Canelo's fight to lose. If he fight the wrong fight, he's gonna lose.
Julio Cesar Chavez took a much more dismissive tone. In his view, the sheer physical disparity made the fight more spectacle than true contest. He doubted Crawford's ability to withstand the power and presence of Canelo and predicted an early one-sided result in favor of the Mexican champion.
Bueno, es una pelea muy dispareja, la verdad. Crawford es un gran peleador, pero no tiene nada que hacer en ese peso. Con todo respeto, él va por el dinero y Canelo lo va a noquear.
The two fighters are going to be different weight classes, even though they're going to fight on a specific weight. He believes that they're just going because of the money, Crawford, but probably Canelo is going to knock him out.
Eddie Hearn added a layer of doubt focused on Crawford's career accomplishments. While he acknowledged Crawford's skill set, he questioned whether his resume contained enough marquee wins to support claims of all-time greatness. Hearn implied that despite his dominance, Crawford may not have faced the depth of elite competition needed to cement a historic legacy.
Crawford's what, 36, 35, 30,
37, turning 38.
You know? And by the way, he's an outstanding fighter, but the problem is with Bud, and I said this to him on the flight, I said, you never got the chance to build an amazing resume because there was no one for you to fight. And I was winding him up. I said, tell me your best win. He's like, Ricky Burns. That's what he said. Ricky Burns is my fighter, 3-division world champion. But I said, he was a great fighter, but he's not going to go down in history, Ricky Burns, as an all-time great. You're telling me that was your best win? Well, Errol Spence, but even he acknowledges that Errol Spence, was probably a little bit. And Bud could beat all the greats, but he never really got the chance, and that's why this fight's really important for him and to him. And after watching Canelo against Skull, and I know it was Skull, and I think he's the fresher guy in there, and I very rarely back against Canelo Alvarez, but it would not surprise me at all if Crawford won that fight.
As the clock ticks down to September 13th, the boxing world remains divided. Some believe Canelo's size, power, and experience at 168 pounds will be too much for Crawford to handle. Others see Crawford's adaptability, speed, and unmatched ring IQ as the perfect ingredients for an upset. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe for more boxing content like this.